Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Three. What's happening? I don't hear myself. What's going on, people? Can you hear me? My little thing went quick. But anyway, what's going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Let's Talk Love with Miss Love Doctor and Beauty on the Beat. And she is not in studio with us today. So make sure you drop a heart for her to show her some love. That would be amazing. Is this one? We having some technical. Okay. All right. Can we still use this? Just don't record. Okay. All right, y'all, what's going on? We had a little technical difficulties. You can hear me now? But yeah, so drop some hearts for Beauty on the Beat because she is not here with us today. But we're going to show her some love anyway. And yeah, you right here on the hottest station in the universe, Hot 702.5. I am your girl, Miss Love Doctor. What's the deal, y'all? What's going on? Come on in. I need to share this. That's what I was doing. Can y'all be patient while I share this real quick? Because I want y'all to come on in the conversation. Because it's going to be heavy. But anyway, yeah, let me see. I shared it to a couple of places. I didn't send it to any people, though. I know I be getting on the people nerves. Whoever I text message last or they suggest for me, I probably getting on y'all nerves because I definitely be sharing the show to y'all. And I appreciate the ones who be tapping in though. Straight up, I appreciate y'all for real. But I want to share this, a couple of times because I want y'all to come in here and have a chitter chatter with me about what we finna talk about. Okay. So, y'all ready? Let's get into it. So make sure you comment, love, share, or call in 551-5261. We would love to hear from you. You already know it's a safe space, no judgment. Honesty is the policy. But let's get into this good conversation about love, y'all. But we are talking about Black women and how they're portrayed in such a negative light sometimes. And basically, I would say how to love Black women, but I've saved that. Like I wanted to separate the two. So I definitely wanted to just talk about the negative stigmas that's on Black women and where they came from and how can we get rid of them, So hopefully, you can listen with with the open mind, and allow some love. And maybe we could change some mindsets today because that is the ultimate goal. Because this really do make me sad, right? Like to know that you are a Black woman and to know that people don't really look at you right, like in a negative light, you know what I'm saying? Like people look at you in a negative light and at the end of the day it's like you're still that person. Does that make sense? It probably don't make sense unless you're a black woman. Then it would never make sense. But I feel like it would make sense to a black man because they have similar things that's going on. So I know that we definitely talked about loving our black kings. That was last year. We did not talk about the negative stigmas of the black king, but we definitely talked about loving on our black kings. So I was like, we got to shed some light on the black queens. You know what I'm saying? But however, before we shower the queens with love, we have to make sure we clear the air and figure out where all the negative stigmas even came from. You know what I'm saying? And because we definitely coming back to the shedding some love. We're going to have to shed some love. You know what I'm saying? But it really breaks my heart that we as a people have been taught to hate one another. And that's like on so many levels. I mean, hate one another, like each other. So when I hear somebody talking about, black women, and especially when the stuff that they are saying is not true, and I could say that it's not true for me, it may not be true for everybody, but some of the stuff that they say, I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. But that's how they feel that black women are. And it's bad though, but when you hear us, black women, talking about each other, it sucks. And for sure, when you hear other race women and or men talking about us, it's always in a messed up, jacked up way. You know what I'm saying? So it's even worse when it's our black men, right? Because it's just straight fucking heartbreaking. Like, let's just keep it 100. You know what I mean? That we can debate on going that really when we sit back and we can't believe that these outlooks of each other, and we can't see that we really have the same thing in this invisible backpack of trauma. Like, we all are carrying the same thing. So we are more alike than we want to really accept. We have more of the same issues than we really want to accept. We have the same stresses, we have the same traumas, we have the same experiences when we go to places than we are willing to accept, but yet we are willing to be at war with one another. It just makes no sense. When I can immediately empathize with what you're going through, why would I want to put you through more shit than what you're already going through? That literally makes no sense. So for real, I really am waving the white flag, like in more ways than one, right? So I got Mizz Love Doctor for peace. I got Restore Love, Ruin War. Listen, I want y'all to really... And I'm only saying this because when you have these conversations, it's like somebody already has a defense or a rebuttal or of a matter of a fact, or is there any validity to what is being said? You know what I'm saying? But I really want y'all to listen with 2 ears and a whole heart, because we can't keep allowing ourselves to just keep being at each other's necks, but still wanting each other at the same time. We have a magnetic effect on each other, but yet and still. Like, I can go to any city and go to any hood and have a great time, because I love my people. Like, I know they gonna kick it. I mean, some people might act a little ignorant, but I know they gonna kick it. So in order for us to allow some positivity in the room, I think we should take a couple deep breaths and shake up the energy and do something else, right? And I'm serious. Like, I'm dead ass serious. When I was thinking about this, I was like, you're going to need some people to take some deep breaths before they even start trying to comment. Because I started some mess on Facebook the other day. I really didn't do it. I just took someone else's post and I reposted it to see what they would say. And instantly... and the post was about men. Instantly, the men got on there to tell us why they do what they do, only because we do what we do, how we do it. I'm like, that's not what we talking about, bro. Like, what are you talking about? So take a couple deep breaths and yeah, because I wonder if E saged up in here today, because we're going to need all the positive energy possible. Just going, through the motions. So, you already know, I had to look up the definition of a black woman. And I was definitely trying to see what type of crazy ass mess that I was going to read. And if it was going to be like ugly, if dark, black, ghetto, rude, bonnet, weave, long nails, long eyelash wearing, unable to give or receive love, show affection, will not make a good wife, absolute worst, 3 thumbs down, always popping off, talking back ass, not allowed to feel any type of way, too damn independent, unhappy with daddy issues, who's looking for gold to dig and can handle anything from a heartbreak to disrespect, a woman of African descent. I made that up. I made that up. But I definitely made that up on the simple strength of, like, let's keep it 100. Like, these are things that are being said and are being put into the place of if we are a good person or not. Did you get what I'm saying? And that's only a snapshot, so, or if not all of them, you know what I'm saying? So let's see what they really say. I did look up the definition, and it was kind of hard to find one, or maybe I just disliked all of them or whatever, but here we go. So it says the modifier black does not need to be included, especially if the description elsewhere provides context related to black people, African American, enslaved people, or slavery. Okay? An African American is to an American of Africa, and especially black African descent, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Latino. Now, the Urban Dictionary probably added insult to injury about this whole conversation that we have anyway. It says, a woman with African heritage, a woman who usually has dark skin, complexion, and thick and curly, kinky, coily hair. A woman who comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, which can range from slim to slender to thick and curvy. They are also very intelligent and don't all shake their butts to rap music. I'm trying to read without laughing. Okay. And most of them want an education and a good, well-paying job. They are also talented and make good spouses. Here's where it gets interesting more. They also make good mothers and have been known to hold the household together with or without a man. And without a man was in bold letters. And I put in bold letters, what the fuck? That's so crazy. In the Urban Dictionary, okay, because who's looking in there? Who's writing in there, right? It says known to hold a household together with or without a man. When in fact people definitely know the benefits of having multiple incomes in one home. They know the benefits of having 2 parents for a child. So why are you putting without a man, hold the household down? We known to hold the household down. Like, that's one thing we need to get rid of. Like, don't nobody want to hold a household down together? Do we need someone to hold it down? Probably not. But I think we're supposed to be 2 income households. We are stronger together than we are apart, and that's real. So we're going to talk about what has society done to black women. We never had a change in America. We never had a chance in America. This shit goes back to slavery, of course. We have been taught subconsciously to hate ourselves due to the other's fear of our queendom and insecurities of others. So I'm going to read you this thing that I found in this dissertation that somebody wrote for their doctorate's degree. It says, in fact, the old slave mammy or Aunt Jemima paved a body of writings about black womanhood. She was genuinely dark-skinned, strong-bodied, thick-lipped, obese, and ugly. Being the favorite servant, the skilled cook, and the most devoted housekeeper, she embodied the perfect mother in the house, capable of nurturing white children and having the same time looking after her children and sustaining her family. She was the all-mother figure and the Mother Earth, a superwoman, stronger than her man, less feminine than the other women. So we got to sit in there. There's more, but we got to sit in there for a second. So She's holding it down. Okay. So the Urban Dictionary said we're known to hold it down. We're known to hold it down. And then in the slavery days, we were known to hold it down. So we took care of not only their children, our household, and we were supposed to be stronger than our husband. But in fact, we probably weren't. But this is how, it was supposed to be. So she was also depicted sexualized or defeminized because of her old age. Her physical strength and her obesity, the mammy's masculination highlighted the ultra femininity of her mistress. If she was attractive, then she was considered a Jezebel and was a middle-aged or young woman governed by her libido or the matters of the flesh. She deemed to hypersex women with an unlimited bestow passion. Besides, her sexual greed was counterposed by white men with idolized passionlessness and true woman, which indicated a one white on black sexual abuse and thus the jealousy and the resentment of the white woman. Right? Come on, church, y'all here. Let me get an amen now. We're going to do a little history right here. We're going to figure out where we came in this shit at, because it ain't just come from out of the blue that, we're literally at the bottom of the barrel. So, we did a class study like that where my teacher was like, if your parents made you come to college, take 2 steps forward. If you are your first college person in the household, take 2 steps back. So eventually, once he got through talking, there was all the white men in the front, the white women, the Asian men, Asian women, Hispanic women, Hispanic men, black women. So I was in the back of the room. And he asked them, he was like, which one of y'all would change with her? And they was like, I don't want to be in the back of the room. He was like, it's just the classroom. But it goes bigger than that. Do you understand? So, what'd you say? Triggered. That is the word of the year. So, also known as the slimmer, lighter black woman, they know or knew our value. So in order to keep us apart, we must be tainted in an image of them so that black women are viewed and unliked, right? So let me just keep going before I start getting into what I'm saying. So many white women believe that black females tried to infiltrate the white men and were therefore inviting their sexual attacks. So you're seducing him, but he attacks you? How does that work? They don't even go together. They don't even go together. But anyway, for the fear of being blamed for their victimization, black women were thereupon silent about all such attacks and dissemblance and defined much of their public life. So, the whole entire time, they knew our worth the whole entire time. You know what I'm saying? So we have to dangle something over here so you don't see their worth. We can't have, you know what I mean? Like, if we are known to hold down the household, do all these things, and take care of everybody else's children, but they're ugly, they're this, they're that, but at the same time, white men were raping and assaulting black women all the time. But instead of saying that these white men want these black women, they'll say, you seduced him because you're a Jezebel and your libido is high. Like, come on now with the shenanigans, right? But the old TV shows, like we were just talking about it today, like I never in a million years didn't think that I was gonna have a life like the Huxtables. I just knew that was my life growing up, and I was prepared for it, but I wasn't prepared for all this ghetto ass shit. So the old shows showed us as like classy and educated, well-dressed, well-mannered. You know what I'm saying? Kids ain't being disrespectful. You ain't even got to be talking to them all loud and talking to them all crazy because they already know the skinny. You know what I'm saying? But they had to take that out of these shows, and now we bleaching our skin and, basically doing all kinds of things that make you seem as though you're acting like a damn fool, fighting in public. What gets me the most is the business owners that be fighting in TVs. Like, you at your grand opening fighting? What is going on? Like, we are we lost in the sauce? We got men disrespecting women, not protecting them anymore. Not protecting them anymore. Do y'all, I mean, we ain't that old. We forgot where they used to protect us. You know what I'm saying? And it grinds my gears to the point where I'm just like, if you play a commercial and I see this commercial or this brand of commercial several times, right? And I see that you are showing a happy family in your commercial. And I never see nobody that look like me in the commercial. I see people who look like everybody else in this happy family. But if you show me in the commercial, I'm single, or I'm probably a lesbian, or I'm light skinned with curly hair. I'm like, everybody ain't got curly hair. Where is Shaquisha with the dreads? I'm not lying. I definitely start to do that. Like that one commercial with the pretzel bites or something like that. And she's supposedly giving him the silent treatment. And he's like, that's not how the silent treatment works. But the way they made her look, like the way they made her scowl and the way they made her, you know what I'm saying? Like, have an attitude. I'm like, first of all, why can't they have a different kind of conversation? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it'll make me stop buying stuff, and I'm gonna just keep that all the way 1,000. So they put them in there, you know, looking all happy and everything, and it's crazy how we can see that, right? We can see that this is what's going on, this intentional marketing, and we can see that like how we can understand how like let's say well, we get it because they say white people only see what they only know of us what they see on television, right? Like they only see us on First 48. They only see us on the news, like robbing, killing, stealing, and all these different things, right? So they can see these things and understand that that's why that we're being viewed in that way, but we're not looking at it for us in that same very way. Like flip it. So if we're being portrayed as one thing, why are we looking at each other as if we are those things? If you know that that's probably not what we're striving to be, you know? Someone wrote in one of those Facebook debates that you are not as successful if you don't marry a white woman or almost close to a white woman. I had to sit and really think about that for a minute, right? I had to really think about that. Like, maybe this is something, you know, because I be trying to look for the truth. I'm not trying to argue with nobody. Like, if this is your truth, this is your truth. But it's crazy that you will be in a room with people who don't accept black women, preferably, right? And so they'll allow you to be with a woman that doesn't look, you know, too urban or ethnic, but at the same time, don't particularly care for you to be with a woman that look like them either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. Now, let's clear the air. I'm going to make sure I put this disclaimer out there. Love who you love. I'm not saying that. We are definitely talking about real things that go on between black women. So stay focused and stay on that, okay? So, cause I love everybody. I don't think I'm racist. I don't like people who are hateful. I don't like people who be lying and shit like that. It's a whole lot of things I don't like, but it's not because of your race or your sex or gender or anything like that. But, I think the point that I'm trying to make is that systematically black women are at the bottom of the barrel. So we literally have everyone against us. So that's heavy as hell. You know what I'm saying? On so many different levels. Because you can have serious long-term effects with that. We don't think about that, right? We all think about what we go through on an individual basis. So you know what you're going through on an individual basis could possibly cause some long-term effects that if you don't purposefully, intentionally heal from these things, then they can cause long-term effects, right? But if this has systematically been going on for a very long time, it just looks different right now. If this has been going on for a very long time, then you have to understand that it could cause some long-term effects. And I'm not saying everybody have like low self-esteem, right? But I would say that you have some type of esteem about yourself, regardless of what it is. And that most deal with the something that we could deal with subconsciously and not even really know or realize that we're dealing with it. But you have these said triggers that you act a certain kind of way that you don't even pay attention that you be acting. And you've probably been told by plenty of people that you act this way. So it's like, okay, what do I do with this? You know what I'm saying? But the point of it is that you weren't born with these things. You weren't designed this way. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to get into the fact of what the consequences of low self-esteem would be. And I'm only using low self-esteem because in some way, shape, form, or fashion, there's some long-term effects that we all subconsciously deal with, and we all subconsciously have this thing, whatever it is that's about yourself that you don't like, that in reality everybody else loves about you. It's you. You know what I mean? Because we're all unique, we're all different. So I just pulled out of that we're going to dig into low self-esteem, right? So some of the consequences are create sadness, bitterness, lack of trust, anxiety, stress, loneliness, and increased likelihood of depression. It causes problems with friendships, romantic relationships, seriously impair your academic and your job performance, and it leads to increased vulnerability to drugs and alcohol abuse, just to name a few. Right? These are some serious consequences of having low self-esteem. So systematically, if you're taught like you're ugly, you're worthless, you're black, don't marry her because she's gonna be too difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel these things. So subconsciously, these little things, once you plant those seeds, if you are not intentionally not allowing them to grow, they grow without you even knowing. You know what I'm saying? And then there's internal symptoms of low self-esteem. And that's feeling worthless, unloved, unwanted. Ain't that what I was just saying? Obsessively fearing failure or believing that you're not good at anything when there isn't anything or any evidence that shows that it's true. Come on now. It shows believing that you're not good at everything. And I'm just saying, like, I'm just going to say, my sisters, my queens, we are some trendsetters. You hear me? We set trends. Just going to put that out there. Okay? So, having the imposter syndrome or feeling like you don't belong, feeling like your success or accomplishments are accidents or that you don't even deserve them. Ooh, that is a word. That is a word. I'm going to say that again. Feeling like your successes or accomplishments are an accident and that you don't deserve them. Wow. Frequent negative self-talk. And I'm guilty of that one. I had to start my own movement like, bro, stop talking so mean to yourself. So in reality, when I'm around people, when they start talking about themselves, I don't even got to know you. I be like, I don't really like when people talk negative about themselves. I kind of started a movement, and you can join it right now if you like. I don't know, they could join it or not, but feeling like you're a burden on people, always doubting yourself and second guessing yourself. And then, of course, there's some external symptoms of low self-esteem. And we have lack of personal boundary setting. Heavy. Who out there ain't setting them boundaries? But people is habitual about boundary line steppers, I learned. They like to step over the line a lot. So people saying please, people pleasing, saying yes to everything and everyone, even when you don't want to. Trouble learning new skills or concepts, especially things that are deemed difficult by society, like math. Difficult making new friends or increasing dependency on existing friends and conflict avoidance. Now, y'all let me know. Y'all drop a heart if one of them, if any of these resonate with you. You ain't got to say which one, but if any of them resonate, drop a heart. Not going after what you want or asking for what you need. Disempowering body language such as slumped shoulders, protective posture, limited eye contact, social withdrawal, and social anxiety. All I can say is just let there be grace. Can we get some grace? Can we get some grace, baby? Anybody who is dealing with any of those things or all of those things or multiple of those things, you deserve some grace. And we need to talk about that low self-esteem, baby. Now, now that we've talked about the cause, where it came from, and things that people could be walking around subconsciously dealing with and throwing up and bleeding all over people because they don't realize that society has beat their ass up and made them have low self-esteem, and possibly generations before that, because let's not forget about pathologies. Let's not forget about generational and the curses that goes with that. So if your mama's mama had 2 or 3 of these or 4 or 5 of these, and then 6 or 7 of these went to your auntie, and then, you know what I'm saying? All of this, like conflict avoidance, or not going after what you want, or not asking for what you need. Those are like the most simplest things. Like, it's my life. I should go after what I want, right? And if it's something that I need, I shouldn't have no problems going after what I need, asking for what I need. But sometimes people don't know how to ask for what they need, and I am guilty of that. But when you are used to not really having nobody to ask, you kind of just don't ask. And it's just a weird thing. But as far as your needs, you know, the older you get, let me let y'all know, you start to ask for what you need, or you end up taking it because you need it. I don't want it. I need it. So when you have that type of verbiage, you got to pay attention to that. Social anxiety. I was talking to this girl, and she said, I used to sing in the choir, or something about the choir. I'm like, let me hear, just let me hear you sing. She was like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, you sang in like choir. You just said you went on competitions and you did all these things, which means to me you could sing and I want to hear it. She was like, I have really bad social anxiety. Plus, I was singing with like a group of people, so everybody couldn't really see me. And nah, I can't do that. I was like, why not? But then I had to stop and think about what was her experience. You know what I'm saying? What has she done, or what has happened to her where she just can't, sing in front of people, or whatever her social anxiety is. But she's probably carrying some of these things of that low self-esteem, because let me tell you, it don't just stop with black women. It don't stop with black women. It don't even stop with women. But that's who we talking about today. But I'm just saying, the person that I talked to, she was not black, and I'm getting to a point with that. So I'm glad I dropped that little nugget. Don't forget that part, right? So what are some of the misconceptions of a black woman? Y'all go ahead, drop them in a comment, because I already know either you have dealt with it, you have witnessed it, or you've heard it, or you tired of hearing it. So, we aren't capable of love. This one is one that is near and dear to my heart, as y'all probably already know, because if you believe that we're not capable of love, it's a whole lot more hurt than we need to dig into, probably on both parts, because that's just crazy, right? Like, I'm gonna say this, and I didn't even write this, but I had a whole ass problem with the fact that when Kanye wrote, he give me money, gold digger, right? And then when you get on, he leave your ass for a white girl, right? We was all singing it to the top of our lungs, right? And then he did it, right? And then I didn't want to sing it no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I singing this shit for? And it was like the most in your face. Like, I really want to, and I hope that one day she listens to my show. But I want to talk to the girl that he was with all those years before, and then he got, and then he left her for a white girl. So I do want to talk to her about that. Yeah, that was crazy because obviously she was capable of loving him that whole entire time. You know what I'm saying? So if there was issues that were within there, why couldn't those be worked out like same set issues? Because you did not go from one place with no issues. You didn't go to that. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is we choose welfare over having two parents in the household. I have heard people, men, say that. Blew my mind. I'm like, do you know how much money you get for welfare? You don't get no money. You don't what? That's not no lifestyle. Like who wants to be on welfare? Like it. But I'm giving grace to those who haven't been taught any different. I'm definitely giving grace to those who haven't been taught any different. So, but for someone to believe that like, nah, 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 I don't want you in my household. I don't want my kid to have two parents because I want this welfare. No, I don't think so. We don't need a man. We don't want a man. We don't want healthy, loving relationships. Of course, all of us are angry and bitter and mean. We choose to be baby mamas because we choose men who will leave us and they don't want their seed. So we the dummies for spreading our legs to somebody who didn't want to have a baby with us, right? We're aggressive, ill-tempered, illogical, overbearing, hostile, ignorant, and be ignorant without provocation. Like, oh no, they just ignorant because they just want to be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have no reason to be ignorant. And the one, that I'm going to say again, hurts my heart is that they feel that we've turned our backs on black men. They feel that we don't hate, we don't value them. And I've talked to plenty men. Y'all know I'll be talking to these men because I got a point to all of this. I'm waving a white flag and I want to lead the Billion Black Man March of truth. I want them to be true. I want us all to be truthful, but y'all know what I'm saying. And we talk back too much. I had to put that in there. I do feel like we are opinionated, and I do think that sometimes we do have to learn when to do more listening than more talking. I'm going to just say that. So, how can we, as a people, as a woman, do more, do better by us? How can we uplift each other? How can we uplift our black women especially due to the fact that we know where society has put us. So how can we uplift each other and stop pushing each other down? Because you're not pushing each other down too far anyway. You know what I'm saying? But it's better to lift one another up. So first things first, I would say, is change your mindset. Like, please change your mindset. Please change your mindset. Because the way you view black women, literally make a sound decision that you want to change your outlook. Like, I'm going to give this a fair shot. I'm going to give this a good chance. I was leaning over the whole time, huh? I'm going to give this a fair shot, right? I'm going to give this a fair shot. I want y'all to say it. I want y'all to keep saying it. Like, I'm going to give this a fair shot. Because, like, it's better to allow love than hate, of course. But Jill Scott said it best. Like, what if we were gone forever? Like, there was no more black women on this earth. I don't know. Like, would some people? I mean, I know. I'm speaking specifically of the lover of black women. Would some people be okay with that? Like, first of all, everybody mulatto. We go from mulatto, then you start to, and now it's just mulatto and white. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, we kind of superior, I guess. I don't know. But that's a whole nother conversation. And that lady said, no chocolate kisses and no nappy dugout ever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, seriously. Stop and say, okay, let me take a look at and try to figure out if I can remove some of the negative thought process and get rid of it to, you know, they make love, not war, right? I know they said bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, and we don't love them hoes. But those same people who said those things are happily married. Been married. Been married in the game for a long time. And love their wife too. You know what I'm saying? So, and they express strong feelings about other women, but they express strong feelings about their women. Like when I saw Charlie Wilson's video, I can't even think of the name of the song, but it's Snoop Dogg and them wedding. But I was looking at the way he was looking at her, the way he was handling her. I'm like, okay, he loved her. You know what I'm saying? Even though he rapping and got y'all rapping and acting a fool and treating women like they ain't shit. And that is crazy to me. So that brings me to the next one anyway, is see the value in us. Like, it's insane that you can't see the value in us, you know? And, I mean, I can't be like, you need to see the value in me. I think you need to sit down and think about what the value is of a black woman. Like, I have a friend who was like, well, I never thought I would need a woman at all. But now he ill, he like, well, maybe, you know, because I don't got nobody to be here. I'm like, that's it. That's wild. Like, value, just no value at all. Understand that we are an asset. I don't understand how one can see the value. Like, first things first, you wouldn't even be here without a woman, whether that's a good thing for you or a bad thing for you personally. But the fact is just that, like, everybody came through the legs of a woman. So it's like when you see a baby being born, you're like, wow, that's a miracle. Like, that's crazy. But it's like, boom, you go right back to forgetting and disrespectful. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, put some respect on the women who push these big head ass disrespectful kids out. And realize that we are not and should not be at war with one another. We need to take all the hate and the bitterness out of our thoughts. And many things people say are individualized that happen to them, because it's not all black women, and it's all not all y'all this and y'all do that and hate it. I hate it when people be like, well, you know how y'all is. No, I don't. Explain to me how y'all is. You know? Because I may be like that, I may not. Now, do we have some similarities? Yeah, because our whole reproductive system is the same inside. So, yeah, we definitely have some similarities, but we all don't do the same things. Now, can y'all forgive us? And that goes all across the board. I need black women to forgive black women. I need men to forgive black women. I need the rest of the world and society just to forgive us, along with adding that value, along with seeing, along with realizing that we're not at war, all of these things. But forgive us, because in reality, like, what have black women done that's so wrong anyway? And I hear men say, well, I'll never date a black woman because of X, Y, Z, and I ain't never dating no black woman. And I'm thinking, like, even if that's like not your preference, why you gotta talk bad about them? Like, if that's just not your bag, it's just not your bag. And I can understand that wholeheartedly, because everybody got their own little type, you know what I mean? But like, you hear them saying it and bashing black women at the same time. Like, but why? And please, please, please don't tell me because some little dark-skinned girl pushed you down at the park or wouldn't hold your hand or whatever. But we gotta think about a way to forgive us. And if you can't forgive all black women, try to forgive that one that hurt you. Okay, let's start there. That might be a smaller, bigger ask. It's a small ask because it's one person, but it's a big ask because that's the person who made you not like everybody else. But if you flip it, forgive everybody else and just say, forget that girl who didn't kiss you back on the playground when you were 3. So I think we should choose more love and definitely show some compassion to our sister girls. We need to be nice. We need to talk nice to one another. You know what I'm saying? What they say, talk nicely to me. You get more when you get more with honey than you get with vinegar too. And that's definitely going to the ladies and how we talk to these men. You know what I'm saying? But we realize that we all have the same damage in our backpack, so we can empathize with one another versus being each other's enemy. Being that I can't understand your pain, possibly, and relate to you, and know that we're more fit than we are to fight. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, let's just be friends. Like I said, we are already at the bottom of the barrel. My nose is itching at the tip. We all at the bottom of the barrel anyway, so, why wouldn't we be more friendly to each other? Even if, like I said, date who you want to date. I can't tell nobody who dating who to love. Now, don't think that I'm going to get on here and do that. But if anything else, we should be able to get along and be cordial. Now, what type of love do we deserve? So, I said it already. Black women, let's please stop hating and fighting on one another. Let's be sisters in life. We cause much of the emotional, mental, and physical and sexual abuse to our sisters that suffer, and we are the number one of all those demographics in America. Let me run that back to you, because we're number one at all of these demographics. Emotional, mental, physical, and sexual abuse that we are suffering, and we're at number one for all of those. And so we must start uplifting one another to help build each other up and stop being so nasty to each other. And let's not emotionally abandon each other. All right? I'm going to let that one sink in. Affirming our love for one another, being able to tell each other that you love, compliment each other, and give us space for grace and forgiveness. Take all the stigmas away and allow us to just be women. Like, she a female, not she a black female. Oh, you should have knew that because she black. You know what I'm saying? We just want to be women. We add value to our happiness from other races of women and allow those other women to make many mistakes within the relationship, but we can't have one bad day, then we're doomed of all of our lives. No matter the race, they are women too. They have the same reproductive system we have. They have the same mood swings. Their life have never been or will look like ours. It won't look like ours, and ours won't look like theirs, but we all came from the same thing. So just be kinder, love longer, be there, support. And if you ain't gonna hurt or help, just don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't, this one is big because we had a conversation about this the other day. We shouldn't have to constantly prove to anyone that we're not any type of those stigmas that we mentioned above. And people are, when we walk in a room, we already got these said stigmas on us, right? And I've been called mean, and men will say, well, I wanted to talk to you, but I didn't think you were approachable. And I'm like, well, why? Well, why not? I probably wasn't even paying you no attention. But I be having to think about it like sometimes, like you was raised with boys, you probably talk a little aggressive sometimes. You're a little rough around the edges, but to the core of me, the biggest one for me is I am not downing any other woman of any other race. I just want black women to get the same grace that is given to other races. If she can have a bad day, and if it's I was just reading that, so we're going to scroll on. I said, but this makes no difference. But they'll dog us out. Horrible black women. And they'll say, I don't know what I was saying. If you cool with testing us like this conversation isn't for you, I don't believe we deserve a chance to be soft or feminine, loved, or any of that thing. And that's just food for thought. So I guess we don't get a chance to have a bad day. My boys say I look mean. Let's get to a couple of these comments real quick, and then I'm gonna finish up. Cause I got a couple words for my beautiful black queens that I want to share. So hey y'all, hey MBB Speaks, Janine Roberts, K Nicole Looks, and oh you called in. Sorry I missed it. Let's see. Hey girl, hey, what's up, Beauty on the Beat? You got a chance to come in. So we got a caller. Hello, caller to Let's Talk Love.
How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I am well. I'm listening to this lovely show.
Girl, heavy.
For you?
You gotta mute yours. Whoever listening to it in the background.
Oh, okay.
But what you think about that? So, like, we should be able to have a grace to be able to feel feminine and loved, and if anything, build our community back up where we start protecting each other. Remember, we used to call each other brothers and sisters versus bitches and hoes and niggas. You know what I'm saying?
I feel it. Then we
Yeah.
gotta love up on each other.
I really think it's time. Like, it's white flag waving season for me. But since I got you on the phone, I was thinking that, a few questions that I have for the Black Queens, and just give it some thought, and decide on, then we can move in a different way. But I had to make sure I tell people, like, no negative comments, okay? So, when was the last time you felt loved? Make sure y'all answer in the comments for me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Deep, 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 deep. I feel like I'll be a great backup singer.
Yeah.
Take me on tour. Take me on tour. At least the hype woman.
I think my grandson makes me feel loved all the time.
Oh my God, that's such a pure love, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna
Love
say,
him.
go ahead.
I said I just love him to pieces, okay? I have a horrible day. I talk to him, and just his little conversation and a smile that he put on my face. Oh my God. I just love
He be serious too. He don't play about you.
No, he don't.
But that's a real thing. That is a real thing. And I think that that's why if you pour the love into these kids, then they don't know any other way but to pour it out. You know what I mean? You got to start real early with that. So you probably loving on him. He know exactly how to love you back.
I agree wholeheartedly. It starts from within, in the household.
Mm-hmm.
You got to love up on these kids so then when they go out into the world, they know what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they know how to give it, and it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Their love is so pure. I know you already know how me and my niece do when we see each other. It's like a whole little run dance thing, but it's every single time. And I'll be like you say, you could be really having a bad day, and it's like they so happy to see you. They so happy to see you.
Yes, lift you all the way up. You forget all about whatever you had going on.
Like, give me some hugs. Give me some hugs. So, Black Butterfly Johnson said, the last time I felt loved by a man was early 2000 by a friend of mine who is in prison. But my grand girls, I feel loved every single time I see them. And that is like a thing, right? So, early 2000s. And there's a lot
Yeah,
of people who are single for a very long time. You know what I mean? And like we be in love, but is the love real? Because are the two people coming from a healed space? Probably
a
not.
lot are not.
Let me see. Because these questions, I guess I did. I dropped some heavy questions at the end.
Yeah, you did. I've been
I
triggered the whole.
and I wrote down like 6 or 7, but I'm trying to read them. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So, do we have any suggestions? This is a good one because we only got like 2 minutes. How we could rebuild us up? How can we pour more into each other? What do you guys suggest? Just one suggestion.
I think something super simple is a simple hello.
Mm.
Just greeting someone, a smile. It don't have to be somebody that you know. Like, I try to do it all the time. I was just at Target earlier today, and one of the cash registered ladies, I'm like, your hair is so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like changed her mood. Her you could see it in her body.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done it with young girls, and you could tell, like, they thought I was young, so I feel like the way they were walking up on me, it was, like, super aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know they was getting ready to mean mug me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, hey, girls, how y'all doing? And it was like, they had to take a breath, like, oh, hi. Like, yeah, like, ain't nothing, we can speak to each other. We're not at war with each other, but we are made to believe that we are. But we really not.
This is true.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, K. Nicole Looks.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Love the show.
Okay, all right, we'll get with you. And we are going to wrap this thing on up. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. And we talk about matters of the heart here on Let's Talk Love. And we definitely want to know what matters to your heart. So if you have some topics that you want to talk about, let me know. And until then, you guys make sure you have a love-filled week. Bye-bye. Smooches.